Hello everyone, I am the Honest Hierophant, and in today's Pick a Card reading, we're going to be discussing what is blocking your manifestations, honestly. For pile number 1, we have the Sun card being resembled for the Prisma Visions Tarot with a purple Mookaite tower. The zodiacs associated with purple Mookaite is Cancer and Capricorn. For pile number 2, we have the Page of Wands resembling for the Sacred Kingdoms Tarot with a Larvakite tower. The zodiac associated with Larvikite is Cancer. And then for pile number 3, we have the Queen of Pentacles resembling for the Guardian of the Night Tarot with a Strawberry Quartz tower. And the zodiac associated with Strawberry Quartz is Aries, Libra, and Taurus. If none of these zodiacs are part of your big 3, that is okay. It is just to help anybody that is indecisive of picking their pile. There will also be spiritual properties of each crystal down below in the description. But feel free to pick your pile now. The timestamps will be down below in the description, and you can jump to your pile, and I can't wait to see you there. Hello, my pile number 1s. Whether you have chosen the Sun card or the purple Mookaite tower, welcome into your section of the video. If you are like me, you are probably very curious as to why you were attracted to the Sun card, and also why the Sun card is being resembled as something that may be a blockage of some sort for your manifestations. So, what the setup of this reading is going to look like is I'm going to pull 2 oracle cards as to showing and resembling the main topics of each blockage that you might have. And then the Sun card will be the finale, and we'll dive into what the Sun card is resembling of why it could be blocking your manifestations. And yeah, so let's go ahead and pull 2 oracle cards. I got the Energy Oracle and I've got the Elemental Oracle as well. And we'll dive into one card from each oracle deck. What is currently blocking pile number 1's manifestations? All right. This says growth and plants on it. Interesting. Then one more from the Energy Oracle. What is blocking pile number 1's manifestations? And probably what I'm going to do, and I'm sorry, pile number 1, that this is something that's happened to you, but probably what I'm going to do is pull the oracle's first hand for pile number 2 and 3, so that way we can get straight into the reading. Alright, anything blocking pile number 1's? Then we have Journey coming out of the other oracle deck, the Energy Oracle. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one here. And what's funny enough is that the number on the first oracle card, Growth Plants, is number 19, which is also the number of the Sun. And I'm very curious as to what the angel number of 1919 resembles, and especially with the number 2 being here. It's almost like there's two big factors of like 19. I don't know if the number 19 resembles anything for you, pile number 1, but let me go ahead and research this really quick. All right, pile number 1. So you could probably research this if you would like to in your own free time, but I also feel like a lot of the energy that it's talking about between 1919 is talking about the importance of not only just the beginning of something, but also the end of something. So they both have their own importance and value for your journey. And also that maybe it is time to step out of your comfort zone. Maybe it's time to bask in the sunlight of some sort. Maybe you are trapping your energy to a certain extent. So Growth and Plants is the first oracle here, which to me seems like that there has to be some sort of stepping out of your comfort zone, some sort of stepping out of the boundaries of what you're normally used to residing in. Maybe you aren't taking as many challenges. Maybe you aren't, taking as many off-ramps on your path, and that you need to experience certain things, and maybe you're in this closed mind state where you can only see the end goal and not everything in between. Because I feel like if you're only focused on the end goal, maybe you'll never realize that you are actually just walking in place right beside things that you're supposed to be paying attention to until you actually pay attention to those things. So let's see if we can get some clarification on this growth plants card. Pull some tarot to clarify it. What is it talking about with the growth plants? I'm not really a numerology person, so maybe you are able to dive in a bit deeper with that for yourself if you are, in fact, one of those type of people. All right, so we got the Three of Swords, the Two of Cups, the World, the Knight of Wands, and the Fool. Interesting. I kind of feel like there definitely is some barriers of sort here for you, pile number one, where it almost seems like, like you are kind of fixated on the end goal. You are kind of fixated on the values of what the end goal can bring, instead of the relationship between the beginning and the end. You don't really see what's in the middle. You don't really value that as much of an importance. It almost seems like maybe you are kind of carried away in an essence to, like I said, not valuing the middle. You're not seeing that the middle is just as important as the beginning and the end, or even just the end. If you're only seeing the end, then maybe the end isn't as valuable as it could be. And I think that might be what you need to realize, and what's blocking your manifestations is that maybe Spirit is kind of putting barriers to your own barriers. It's almost like if you're not willing to, see that maybe you need to work on yourself, or maybe you need to accept these other challenges that are along the way, that things might get tougher for you. Things might, start being disturbed of things that are peaceful. And, the lessons are going to start to get closer and closer to you until you realize that these things are lessons. And yes, they're going to start out at like a wide range. And if you're not noticing them then they're going to start to creep in, and they're going to start to creep in. And then next thing you know, it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be all up in your face. It's going to be all over the place. And then you're going to realize that you need to start doing something. You need to start valuing what's the process of growing. What's the process of becoming better? What's the process of communication between yourself, your higher self, and maybe your divine partnership, maybe even with your spirit team. And the growth of that, the completion of that, will allow you to take more steps towards the future that you are trying to prepare for. It's going to remove a sort of blockage that you have from what you want your future to look like. So realistically, I think right now for you, pile number one, is really stepping outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you have a time frame set up in your mind that you would like this to happen. And if you are called upon to do other things, and you realize that maybe doing these things will prevent you from getting to your goal of a certain time, and it pushes things back, maybe you aren't as willing to do those things because you are in fear of losing the main goal, which in reality, I feel like you will be protected. I think what you need to do is you need to follow your intuition. You need to follow your guide's information about saying, hey, try this right now. So that way you can learn, or you can experience, or you can develop some sort of traits that will help you get to your end goal, and you'll develop what you need to achieve your end goal. I feel like there's a lot of things working for you that you're not working for it. So if you are asking for something, let yourself experience the right things to help develop yourself into those things. Don't be afraid of taking on any challenges that may not seem like it's appropriate for you, may not seem like it's going to give you any sort of growth into the right direction that you feel like will develop you. Because I feel like no matter what you do, Spirit is always going to put something in front of you that will help you grow, that will help you see the bigger picture and just mold you into the right formation that you need to be. So don't be afraid of challenges. Don't be afraid of doing other extracurricular things that maybe you feel like aren't going to add up to anything. It's okay to experience a mixture of things, even if it isn't to your own liking, or even if it isn't to your own plan. Things are ever changing. Things evolve into different things. So like challenges and problems can easily evolve into different situations if you haven't completed them before. And I just feel like that's kind of like what's going on right now. Things are evolving to a point where you're not experiencing certain things that they, like I said, just keep getting closer and closer to you until you're really ready to experience them and kind of just throw your hands up in the air and just do it. So experiencing growth is going to be what you need to do. Experiencing different things to add up to a bigger picture. Experience the in-between, the journey. And that's the card that we're going to figure out next. What's the journey about? All right. What is the journey about for pile number 1? Can we get some clarification on the journey? What is the journey referring to in terms of blocking manifestations for pile number 1? All right. We got one of my favorite cards, the Hierophant. We got the 2 of Wands. The 7 of Wands. The 6 of Cups. And the 4 of Wands. So I feel like there's a lot of information that comes to you probably like directly from Spirit. And I feel like there's a lot of good information that comes to you. And I don't want to call you hard-headed, but I would almost be inclined to say that you might be, especially if you're a Capricorn. I know Capricorn was one of the zodiacs associated with Mookaite, so maybe if you're a Capricorn, maybe this is revolving to you. That I feel like there's a lot of good information that comes to you directly. And this could be talking about the in-between part of the journey as well, where it's like, you need to do this, to do this, to do that. You need, like learning lessons along the way. And I feel like there is a lot of good information that comes from different sources in your life, whether it's a teacher, mentor, a role model, or whether it comes from a best friend or coworkers or a divine partner or something along the lines of that is great information for you to experience. It's great information for you to ponder. And I feel like maybe you are a bit of the type of person that feels like that's just like water that can drown you, or danger. Maybe you feel like it's danger or like a threat to what you feel like is your perfect image of the end goal. And maybe you're afraid that you will like it. Maybe you're afraid that, other things that you weren't really creating, or the other things that maybe weren't really your ideas. Maybe you're afraid to admit that you will like other things and you're just not wanting to experience them. So I kind of feel like maybe your mind feels like it's made up. It feels like you have a specific inclination of what you want the bigger picture to look like, but maybe you're really not actually decided. Maybe you need more clarification and trying different things and really figure out firsthand experience if you really like something or if you really don't like something. So maybe your mind isn't made up. And I think that's something that you need to kind of evolve and trust into, that your mind isn't made up, pile number 1. Your mind is ever changing. I feel like you are the type of person that sees something and it's like, wait, maybe I do like it. Oh, no. I actually don't. Someone else has recommended it. It's not my own idea. It's not what I'm working on now. And maybe you need to take on these creative ventures and allow yourself to experience the unknown. Allow yourself to experience things that you haven't thought of before that, can add some value, or it may not add some value. It's not going to hurt you, I don't think. So being able to try out the new things might be helping you reach your manifestations. You turning down these ideas might be blocking you from these manifestations. Be able to live a little bit. Be able to live and learn and experience things and not really have like a hard set out way of doing things. Because I feel like if you try out the new things, then maybe, just maybe, those new things will show you something else that you haven't even thought of before and will take you on to even bigger investments or even bigger ideas that can bloom into, your greatest accomplishment or your biggest picture. So I feel like this is just my taking that you are kind of in a closed box right now. And with that being said, that hurts your manifestations, right? If you are closed in a box, you can't go out and experience what it is you're looking for. If you are tunnel visioned, you can't see around you what you need to experience or what challenges you need to defeat or what problems you need to reverse. And I feel like stepping out into the sunlight, let's just say you're trapped in a house. You need to step out into the sunlight and experience the wave of passion that can come from all different sources for you. With that being said, I would like to investigate the sun card, and I'm sure you're dying to figure out why the sun card is something that you have, decided on. It was the choice that you made between the three piles. What is the sun card talking about for pile number 1? Ten of Swords, 8 of Swords, 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, one more, the Moon. Wow, okay. Let's get these stacked on top of each other real quick. That way it makes it a bit easier for you to see. All right, let's recover here. Okay, so we got the Sun card, and the clarification cards for the Sun card is the 8 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the Moon, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Cups. So what is missing here between all the 10s? We're missing the 10 of Wands. Okay. So that means that you were pretty damn close to your manifestations, pile number 1. You were almost on a breakthrough of overcoming the obstacle that you're dealing with. I think what needs to be recognized here, the information that I feel like I'm receiving from Spirit, is that as an artist can figure out what it is that they are visioning. But majority of the time, what an artist creates is slightly different than what they are visioning in their mind as an idea. And I see you being an artist, pile number 1. Especially since the Sun card has like this really nice ooey gooey color scheme of what looks like paint dripping kind of. And I really feel the artistic mentality from you. And I think what you need to realize about your manifestations is that they're not going to be pinpoint, detail to detail accurate for you. And I think that is the mindset that you have got to let go of. You've got to abandon that idea and really realize that things can be elevated. Things can be better than what it is that you are manifesting for if you allow yourself to live through the progress of reaching that manifestation. What is that progress going to look like? It's going to be different. You're going to maybe find things that add to your cup. You're going to maybe find things that give you more inspiration or give you more power to move on to the next step. You're going to find a lot of resources along the way that are just going to build you up to maybe even something greater than what it is that you're originally manifesting for. And I think that is the big plan. I think you are going to reach something that is even greater than what it is you're manifesting for, because that is what you deserve. Maybe you are very modest. Maybe you only manifest like something as valuable as what you think that you can handle. But maybe you deserve more. Maybe you deserve better. And I really think that the manifestations can come to you if you allow yourself to experience the outside world, if you allow yourself to experience outside of the box, if you are allowed to experience things outside of your subconscious. And don't allow things to be as controlling as you are now. Allow yourself to be at more of a free flow state, and things will get better for you moving forward. That is the biggest thing that I feel like you have got to experience here. The main blockage that you have is that you're not as free flowing as you should be, and that you need to learn lessons. You need to learn different things. You need to expand. You need to learn and experience the in-between of start to finish. You need to allow different ideas to stimulate your mind to help you grow into a better manifestation than what you may already be creating. I'm going to go ahead and pull 2 more oracle cards for final advice for pile number 1. What would be some good advice for pile number 1 here from the oracle? We have magic, alchemy. Let me get a clarification card for this magic card. We have yin yang. 22. Yes, there's got to be a free-flowing state. There's got to be good, bad, ugly, beautiful. There's just got to be a mixture of all of it. You've got to go through hard times to receive good times. You've got to experience things to really be able to set yourself up for the greater picture, the greater good, and that all things at the end of the day are in your control. But it should not be to a point where you only trap that energy in your subconscious or in your soul or in your body. It's got to be free flowing. It's got to be out into the universe. You've got to let that energy that you are releasing into the world provide for you. And that energy is always going to attract the right things for you to learn and experience at the end of the day. And I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to let your energy, your spirit team work for you to really bring in the right things, the right assets, the right problems, the right solutions, the right lessons for you to experience what you need to do to build you up to a point where you are stable, you are capable, and you'll be able to experience your finality of your manifestations. That's what I got for you, pile number 1. It's a dance. It's a balancing act. You've got this. I think this message will get across to you pretty clear, and I hope it does. I hope you receive it well. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I can't wait to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello, my pile number 2s, whether you have chosen the Page of Wands card or whether you have chosen the Larvikite Tower, welcome into your section of the video. So glad to have you here. We are trying to figure out what exactly is blocking your manifestations. And I have already pulled 2 oracle cards to resemble any sort of blockages that you might be having currently, and we'll dive into those. And we'll read and clarify those, and then we'll jump into the Page of Wands as the finale. So, the pre-selected oracle cards that I have for you, we have from the Elemental Oracle, Passion, the Soul. And then from the Energy Oracle, I have the 7th Chakra, Archangel Uriel. So, we'll dive straight into the Passion card first and figure out what this is talking about. But it clearly shows to me that maybe what you have manifested so far could be on the verge of incompletion because maybe you aren't as passionate towards that as you originally were. Maybe your passion is being depleted, and maybe what you are manifesting isn't exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you don't know exactly what to manifest for. That's what I'm kind of feeling. And there again, that could resemble exactly what the Page of Wands is also talking about. Something to do with passion and creative energy and things of that nature. But let's go ahead and get clarification on this passion card and see what it's really, really talking about. Let's get in depth with it here. What is this passion card talking about? Why is it a main blockage for pile number 2? We have the 3 of Cups. We have the King of Cups. Have to boost these a bit higher. We got the Knight of Swords. The Temperance. Man, everything's just touching together. Okay. And then lastly, we have is the 8 of Cups. Interesting. So I really feel like maybe what you were looking for is something that can be extra fulfilling for you. But I feel like the path that you were taking, you know, you're obviously wanting this, but the path that you keep taking seems to be a path that kind of depletes your energy. It almost seems like it's the right choice, and then it ends up being not what you expected it to be. And it always leaves you to a point where you're on an escape. You're having to do all this work to find, resolution, or you're having to do all this work to really understand where you're at. And it doesn't help anything. And it almost ends up making it to where you have unclear thoughts or unclear feelings of how you feel towards things, or how you feel towards your overall manifestations, or if you think that this is what you have been granted, is it really what you wanted to begin with? And it really makes you feel very neutral. It really makes you feel undecided. And I feel like it makes you feel like you can't put forth any sort of passion or excitement to something because it's not exactly what you want. And I feel like there's just a lot of internal struggles, internal battles here with you, especially mentally, but also probably like emotionally as well, since we got 3 cups cards here on the table. I just feel like there's just a lot of mental and emotional struggles when it comes to your manifestations. And I feel like with these struggles, they also create blockages for you, where if you're allowing it to defeat you, then how are you supposed to overcome and actually get to your manifestations? And it might just be that you are, making too quick of decisions, and maybe you need to be able to master the timing of certain things and allow things to really play out before making critical judgment, or maybe before making a misunderstanding. I think that's what it's calling out here, is that you need to kind of see things through a bit more than allowing things to kind of disappoint you right off the get-go if just something is not right. Because I feel like things can get better in a lot of the circumstances that you are in, and things can really grow and evolve into putting you forth towards the direction of your manifestations if you allow it to. But calling quits a bit too early might, be a struggle for you. Maybe you were limiting, your adventure because of the amount of drainage that these disappointments have on you. And maybe it's not supposed to disappoint you, but maybe it's supposed to open up your mind to a bit more of a clearer conscious, and being able to really resonate with, what is truly calling you. Maybe it's to kind of outweigh things such as like what you thought you wanted ends up being things that maybe you need to stay away from because it's not exactly what you wanted. And you need to actually open yourself up to a greater potential. Because if you are manifesting, let's just say, for example, a car, and you had set in mind that you wanted this brand new SUV, and it was a certain make and model, and you were really excited to get it, and then you actually got it finally. I feel like having the manifestation of a vehicle that you like would probably be like what you were after. And you end up getting this maker model because maybe it's what you had seen on the market and you really liked it. And then whenever you started driving it after you had bought it, even during the test drive, you were excited because it was brand new, or something that you could get used to, and maybe you were, persuading yourself. And then whenever you finally bought it and you're driving it on a weekly basis, that it ends up being a car that you're not really well suited with or happy or satisfied with. And I think that could ultimately lead to just the idea of finding like what you don't want. And maybe now you have a better idea of what's more appealing or what's more suitable for you, and you can get rid of that car and end up purchasing something else that might be better suited for you. And then the manifestation is complete. I kind of feel like that's what the end result should be, instead of like really sulking into the disappointment of things. You need to really investigate, your options and really like feel them out and not let the disappointment set in. Let's get some clarification on the Archangel Uriel 7th chakra, the crown chakra. What is this talking about for pile number 2 here? All right. We got the 10 of Wands. We got the Phoenix. The 8 of Pentacles. The 9 of Swords. And then lastly, we have the 9 of Pentacles. Okay. So 10 of Wands, the Phoenix, 8 of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, and the 9 of Pentacles. So with this tarot deck, we have a great card in the Phoenix. It's an extra card in this tarot deck. And as we all know, or we should all know, and I guess for the ones that don't know, the Phoenix is just you being able to rise above the ashes and to come out stronger and better throughout all the internal struggles. And I feel like that's kind of what, the path that you are taking is shaping you up to being. And if this is something that you are letting get your energy lower than what your energy is traditionally, by disappointment or disapproval or anything like that, then you are going to block your manifestations. You are going to deplete your crown chakra's energy to really see clarity of situations, to really see what the situations are actually entailing you. And it's going to deplete it, it's going to cripple it, and it's going to allow you to be blocked from your overall manifestations. This is just the path that it's taking you to get to where you're supposed to go, because I feel like maybe you are either a bit indecisive or you're just unknown. You're unknowing of like what you actually want. And I think you have to work just a bit harder than the traditional person at really figuring out what is going to complete your manifestations. And I feel like realistically, it's almost like, trying on a dress or a tuxedo or whatever else. It's like there's going to be different brands, there's going to be different values, and you're in a store where you can try on many different things. And unfortunately, that's kind of like the resemblance of your life, is that you're going to be trying out different things to really figure out what you want if you don't know what you want. And yes, it takes a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of grit and grind, but it's the factor that is going to build you up to the person that is going to be suitable for the end result of your manifestation. It's going to give you encouragement. It's going to give you motivation. It's going to give you that passion. It's going to give you that joy. And you're going to really figure out things that you don't want. And I feel like it's going to give you like a reservoir of great information that you will be able to deal out into this world to create even more better things moving forward. So that is something to take a mental note of, pile number 2. You do not need to take your energy out of yourself. You do not need to take the air out of the basketball or the air out of the tire. You need to be able to inflate yourself. You need to really understand what it is that you're going through on a daily basis. And it's not something to get down about. It is something to be motivated about. You're going to understand what, you have the opportunities for. And what's exciting for you, pile number 2, at least for most of you, I feel like you have a lot of great opportunity that most people don't get to have. You have the opportunity to experience life in a total different way than most people get to. A lot of people just stick to one thing and that's it. But you get to try out varieties of different things. You get to try out a multitude of different successes or different failures or different just life experiences in general. You get to live. You get to experience life. I feel like you're the type of person that likes to travel and likes to experience life and see the world and really live to your heart's fullest content. But with that being said, that presents challenges that obviously you are facing now, which is, not knowing what you want, not knowing how to get there, and allowing it to really affect your mental state and really affect your energy overall to pursue something moving forward. So this is something that you cannot allow, pile number 2. You've got to influence yourself. You got to lift yourself up. You got to have inspirational messages coming to you to let you know that you can do things. You can do great things. It's all about figuring out what it is you want, figuring out what it is that is going to be the best suitor for your manifestation. So keep that in mind. Let's finally get some clarification on this Page of Wands card here. What was this Page of Wands card all about for pile number 2? All right, we got the 2 of Wands. We got the Death card. Got the Ace of Wands. 9 of Wands. So a lot of fire energy here. And then the 7 of Cups. So it's all about the adventure. It's all about taking on the adventure, pile number 2. You're going to be one of those people that are going to be at an elderly age and you're going to sit back and tell your grandchildren or the friends of your grandchildren or just friends in general about the amazing life that you've had. And I think that is to create inspiration for you, create this passion that you need, is that you get to have a life that a lot of people don't get to have. And you get to have an abundance of different opportunities, of different options. And yes, you're going to go through a lot of death and rebirth, but that is something that is supposed to not hold you back. That is something to evolve you and grow you to be someone super inspirational. And I think really claiming that in your life of knowing that it's a journey, knowing that it's supposed to be, an inspiring story that maybe you can write into a book. This is something that you need to develop into your background, into your story, into your biography of sorts, that you are this empire, this inspirational person that gets to taste every single piece of candy in the candy store, because that's what it is. And that should be a motivation to you. That shouldn't disappoint you. That should totally be motivation. And I feel like that will inspire you, to give you spark, to give you creative energy that you are super depleted of because you've allowed it to, mellow out of your system. It needs to be re-encouraged. It needs to be put back into your 7th chakra, which is your crown chakra. You need to allow it to inflame your crown chakra to be really moving, growing, expanding, and allowing that to develop into, society, into the venture that you're taking. Inspire people, grow people, really live your life until you really find what is the best completion towards your manifestation. You get to try out many different things. It shouldn't be that you are a victim of not knowing what you want. It should be rewarded that you get the rare opportunity of figuring out life as life comes at you. All right. So just because you end up with something that you end up not liking to complete your manifestation doesn't mean that your manifestation is over. It just means that you have the opportunity to turn it down and to move on to the next, to figure out what it is really that you want to complete your manifestation. All right, pile number 2, I'm going to pull an oracle card for advice and then get clarification from another oracle card. What would be some good advice for pile number 2? What would be some good advice for pile number 2 here? We've got rain. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this word, and I'm not going to try it to embarrass myself, but I understand the concept of it. And what's funny to me is there's another fiery energy here with a fiery crown, right? And then you have something growing within inside you. I just feel like you're growing a story to tell. I feel like you're just going to have a huge story to tell towards the end of your life. What's clarification on this rain card? We have indecision. I feel like the rain to help grow your manifestations, the rain to help grow and give fertilization to your overall life, is letting indecision power you. Letting indecision be the fuel to the fire of not really liking this, so let me try this, and allow these alternate ideas grow what it is that you can finally claim as being an definite resolution to your problems. I feel like this is going to grow you. Pile number 2, allow yourself to claim the power of the struggle and to let that fuel you into different parts of your life that can become beautiful if you allow it to be beautiful. It's not as bad as you think. You do not have to fit in with the others. You can create your own beauty. You have your own beauty, and just allow that to fuel you. And then I feel like the blockages of your manifestations will no longer be, and you can experience the end results of your manifestations how you want them to be. All right, pile number 2, I hope this came to you well. Thank you so much for being here and allowing me to read for you. I hope to catch you in the next reading. Take care. Hello, my pile number 3s, whether you have chosen the Queen of Pentacles, the Guardian of the Night Tarot, or if you have chosen the Strawberry Quartz Tower, welcome into your section of the video. We are trying to figure out what is blocking your manifestations. The Queen of Pentacles is going to be the finale card for you in this reading. I'm going to have 2 oracle cards come out here in just a second that will also define what it is that you're going to be blocked from your manifestations. And like I said, the Queen of Pentacles is going to be the finale card. So let's go ahead and pull out the pre-shuffled oracle cards for you. The first card being Oceans, Bravery from the Elemental Oracle deck. And then from the Energy Oracle deck, we have Caring Connections. So, already feeling the energy that is coming here. I feel like I already know what this is talking about, but we'll get into it with the first oracle card, which is Ocean's Bravery. From this imagery and from the intuitive feelings from this card, I just feel like there is a bit of expansion from traveling that could be taking place here. Maybe it is leaving a certain thing behind. Maybe it's not feeling comfortable enough to take the next step that is calling you towards that next step. I feel like what you are being blocked from is having the decisiveness to make that next big change, that next big leap. And maybe, just maybe, it's these caring connections that are around you that make you feel like you have something to prove, or you have to stay in a certain area, or you can't really take that next big step. That might be the motivation of keeping you grounded and keeping you still instead of moving forward on your path. So let's see if there's any sort of clarification here from the Bravery Oceans card, with the tarot. We'll use tarot to clarify, and we'll work our way through each card. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, and this is going to kind of get messy because of how, big these cards are. So we got the Wheel of Fortune, got the King of Swords, we got the Death card, the Knight of Cups, and then we have the Four of Pentacles. So I feel like the next step that you are being called to is inevitable. It is the change that you have to make if you do in fact want to kind of bring in these manifestations that you're asking for. And I feel like maybe you influence yourself a lot with a lot of the surrounding things that you can touch. I feel like a lot of tangible things give you confirmation instead of thoughts, feelings, spiritual things, spiritual guidance, things of that nature. I feel like those kind of things are not as prioritized as things that are feasible, that are touchable. And I feel like you like to influence yourself to believe like a certain way. I feel like even using like these caring connections as like a resource to be like, oh, I've got to do it for them. I've got to do this for them. And maybe you have that mindset of being kind of a bit too loyal. I feel like the Knight of Cups here is talking about loyalty and, being compassionate for the people that you have around you and being that reserved to, not trying to affect other people allows you to stay still. It keeps you from moving forward. It keeps you from making a choice. And I just feel like the advice for this topic here is that you're going to have to make a change. You're going to have to make big changes that maybe you are in fear of making changes. Maybe you are the type of person that likes routine. Maybe you are the type of person that likes stability a lot, but I feel like you're not going to be able to keep that up for too long if, in fact, you want your manifestations to come true. You're going to have to make bigger changes than you're used to. You're going to have to make bigger changes that could actually affect other people around you or that you are connected with that, you don't control their life. Yes, you can be a part of their life, but you can't actually control their life. And in reality, they should not be influencing or controlling you. And I really hope that there isn't anybody in your life that you're, being guided by or being heavily influenced by, like a soul energy, because that can keep you trapped a lot too, allowing that person to have that much control over you. Maybe being able to take back that control, maybe protecting what is limiting you or what is limiting your choices. So being a bit more thoughtful there. But yeah, I feel like there's just going to have to be some bigger choices needing to be made for yourself. And the thing that is limiting you from moving forward is a big choice. So whatever that is to you, whether that's moving or changing positions or changing jobs or, changing the way you think or whatever the case may be for you, I'm sure you'll understand and know for yourself. That is your next big step. But let's see if we can get some clarification on this Caring Connections card. We have the Two of Wands. We have the Six of Wands. Seven of Wands. Page of Swords. And then the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of people that are, big influences in your life. I feel like you're a very social person, pile number 3, that you like to take input from a lot of people. You like to have a good, resounding feedback pool that helps you make choices, that helps you create things in your life that you want to create. And I feel like that is kind of what you bank things on. That is kind of what you have made your stability on, that has stabilized you, that has gave you comfort and a peace of mind, because it almost seems like the choices just can't be well suited enough just for you alone. And I really think that kind of has gotten you to a point where it's crippled you a little bit, that you've asked too many resources for their own input. And it almost should be like teaching you something here, that if these inputs have led you to this stagnant, blocked energy of not moving forward, how has this not been, discovered sooner? And I really think that you're going to have to venture out of your comfort zone of allowing these people that obviously you care about, and obviously they care about you, which is great. That's amazing. I'm happy that they have great energy towards you, and that you receive great energy from a lot of different people. But I feel like this is a teaching moment in your life that you are supposed to learn from and really educate yourself on how you can make big life choices for yourself. How can you empower yourself to make big changes in your life? How can you empower yourself to make changes that affect other people? And that's not something that you need to really worry about, because yes, you have these people in your life. And if you do make a big change where you have to move, then you're going to have new potential to meet other people. You're a social person. You're going to find other great people in your life, maybe even greater people. So I really think drifting out of your comfort zone to allow yourself to make greater choices for you to continue to move forward in your life. I think that's the greatest deal here, is being able to set firm boundaries with yourself and to give yourself the authority to make choices. And I feel like whenever you start making these choices, they're going to be super successful for you, because I feel like you know where you need to go. You know where you need to take yourself, and you can take yourself there. You've just got to allow yourself to. And it's going to be a successful one. And it's going to prevent yourself from being blocked from your manifestation. I feel like the biggest person that is blocking your manifestations right now is you, because you're limiting yourself to the power and control over your own life and over your own decisions. So let's see what this Queen of Pentacles has to say as well. It's the finale card. Let me get clarification on what this Queen of Pentacles is referring to. Why is it blocking pile number 3's manifestations? All right, we got the King of Cups, the Six of Cups, the Tower, the Two of Cups, and the Star. All right, pile number 3. What I'm seeing here for you is that the Queen of Pentacles has to be the energy that you possess. It's the energy that you do not possess right now. It is the energy that is unwavered. It is unbothered. It does not have the mentality to worry or to feel like they are, doing things wrong. They are empowered by their own choices. They are empowered by the energy that is around them. They allow themselves to be calm and steady to make choices. And I feel like there's a partnership here between you and yourself. And the Queen of Pentacles is making partnership with the King of Cups. And these two connections, your divine feminine, your divine masculine energies, has to figure out what is good for you. What really makes you happy? What really enthuses yourself to, wake up every single day? How can you make choices that is for your greatest good? That is for your health? That is for you making your way to your manifestations? With the Six of Cups, that's also your inner child. You got to have connection with your inner child. You got to have connection with, a version of yourself that has this control. Maybe you need to have a connection with the version of yourself in the future Maybe your future self has this empowerment quality for themselves that allows them to make executive decisions for their life. And I feel like you have to have that connection with that version of yourself. And if you don't have that connection with yourself that way, then it's time for you to break down those boundaries, break down those psychological rules in your mind of how you come to conclusions, how you come to decisions, whether it's, using other people as resources or whatever have you, and allow yourself to rebuild your castle, allow yourself to rebuild and reprogram those thoughts, those internal thoughts and those connections, and allow those connections to grow stronger. And once you grow that connection between the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Cups and the future version of yourself that has this empowerment quality, that has the wherewithal to know what is right for you, what is right to make you happy, what is right in your feelings and how you feel about things, and allowing that to come out, into the world, then you're going to grow that connection stronger and more beautiful to be able to make these choices to lead you to the star, the North Star pointing forward on your path to your manifestation. You're going to have completion. You're going to have a wish come true. You're going to have a manifestation come true. And that is, the resounding energy that if you do not have that connection with yourself to be able to see that clearly enough, then you're going to be blocked from your manifestations. And I don't think you want that. So my advice to you is to really resonate with your feelings and really have that leadership and that control to be able to execute on that and to be okay with making those choices for yourself, even if it affects other people around you. They will be okay at the end of the day. It's just like this. People will always find out what they want. People will always get what they want, whether it's you helping them or whether it's somebody else. If you are not there to help them, then they will definitely find someone else. If you are there to not be their best friend, then they'll find another best friend. If you are not there to give them, useful information to help heal them, they'll find somebody else to help heal them. If you were there to help them cut grass and to, tidy up their lawn because they can't, they will find someone else to do it. And that is okay. That is okay. It doesn't have to be you. You are allowed to move on to what is calling you to a bigger and better life for you. So, with that being said, I'm going to pull another Oracle card for advice for you, pile number 3. Is there any advice that wants to come out for pile number 3? What do they need to hear from this message? All right. We got the Depth Lake. Can we get a clarification card for this Depth Lake card? What do they need to know? Broken heart. Either way you turn it, pile number 3, you're going to have to deal with some difficult emotions. But would you rather deal with the difficult emotions of feeling like you let someone down? Or would you rather deal with the difficult emotions of feeling like you let yourself down? You got to prioritize yourself. You can't suppress yourself and your true being forever. You've got to be able to get to where you want to be. You've got to be able to get to your goals, your manifestations, so that way you can live a completed life. So that way you can heal yourself and grow yourself. You can heal yourself from disappointing other people, but you'll carry on that hurt and that guilt into your next life if you disappoint yourself. You don't want to disappoint yourself. You don't want to live a life that you've literally held yourself back from because you're worried about what other people were going to say or what other people were going to do or how people were going to handle themselves. That's not something you need to worry about. You need to worry about and prioritize your mind space, your feelings, and how you want to represent yourself. There's more to you than what is on the surface, and you need to allow that to come out into the world. And that way, it will not stand in your way of blocking your manifestations. I hope this message reaches you well. Pile number 3, thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I hope to catch you on the next reading. Take care.